defendant, Eris Tisdale, as to count 1, guilty of first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment.
Eris Tisdale now facing a possible death sentence after a jury convicts him for the murder of St. Lucie County Sheriff's Deputy Gary Morales. Tonight we hear from the sergeant's best friend, the community, and we look what is next for the convicted killer. Kelly Dunn begins our live team coverage in St. Lucie County. Kelly.
Michael, that verdict came down right around 6:30 tonight. WPTV, the first one to bring it to you live on air. We have been hearing from some people who have been driving by the courthouse as we've remained here tonight, some of them shouting out, "Good verdict." It was guilty on all counts for Eris Tisdale today in the murder of St. Lucie County Sergeant Gary Morales. The Morales family, who was inside the courtroom, of course, for the trial and today's verdict, did not make a public comment when they exited the building. We did hear from a family friend, though, who said that the family is pleased with the verdict. The next phase of all of this, the next step, will be the sentencing, and that's going to be taking place next week. I want to bring in my colleague Megan McRoberts, who's going to tell us what we can expect next week during that next part of this trial.
Right, Kelly. So we know that on Tuesday of next week, the defense will be fighting to have mental health experts present during this penalty or the sentencing phase of the trial. Then on Wednesday, we believe jurors will be scheduled to come back and start hearing this new argument. Of course, the state will be fighting for the death penalty. They want to see Tisdale sentenced to death, so the defense will have to regroup and try to keep him off of death row.
We, the jury, found the defendant, Eris Tisdale, as to count 1, guilty of first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer.
It's the outcome family and loved ones of Sergeant Gary Morales have been waiting years for. Morales was shot and killed during a traffic stop in Fort Pierce in February of 2013. Tisdale, now his convicted murderer, looking at a minimum sentence of life behind bars without parole.
Obviously, we're very pleased with the verdict, and we're prepared to move on to the next phase of this trial.
Chief Assistant State Attorney Tom Backadall pleased a jury found Tisdale guilty of premeditated murder. That's key to lock in the possibility for Tisdale to be sentenced to death. Morales' family extremely emotional following the verdict. Tisdale's loved ones visibly disappointed leaving the courthouse.
They're disappointed, but they understand, and they're hoping for the best outcome next.
Defense attorneys today failed to convince jurors Tisdale was in some kind of fear for his life when he shot Morales.
I'm gonna kill this guy and I won't get caught. Come on. Really? Really? That is the dumbest thing.
It was the state's argument that stuck with jurors, that Tisdale consciously decided to shoot Morales and run from law enforcement.
Who runs? Innocent people don't run. Guilty people run. People who have something to hide run. People who are concerned about their future run. And he ran.
And Kelly, also inside the courtroom today, St. Lucie County Sheriff Ken Mascara, of course, making a presence here. He spent the day here at the courthouse sitting actually with the Morales family for most of the morning waiting for this verdict. He, of course, pleased with this verdict, but he's going to wait until after the sentencing phase until he makes any comments.
I heard him as he was walking by say, "What a verdict." But
right.
Yeah, we'll refrain from any other comments until next week. Megan, thank you very much for your coverage today. Again, Morales' parents, his widow, other brothers, family members inside the courtroom today. We understand his mother thanked fellow law enforcement personnel who were inside the courtroom as she left it. But when they came down this walkway today out of the courthouse, they did not want to make any type of a public comment. We did speak, though, to Morales' best friend, who told us that he wanted to take a few moments and tell us about the best guy he ever knew.
I hear Gary every day, and I just miss him very much, and it's the hardest thing that you have to go through.
Jeff Whalen was friends with Sergeant Gary Morales for 27 years. He admired the man and the job he did protecting the people of St. Lucie County. Whalen was in court today for the verdict.
He deserves to get charged with first-degree murder on a law enforcement officer.
February 28, 2013, a day Whalen lost his best friend, and a day he'll never forget.
Unfortunately for Gary, he was sitting in a car. He couldn't get out quick enough, and Eris Tisdale, I don't feel that he murdered him. He executed him.
And for that, he hopes Eris Tisdale gets the harshest punishment.
If it's jail, I hope it's living in a cave, and you know, because I think jail is too good for him. And if it's lethal injection, I hope it's in my lifetime. I hope it doesn't take 25 years.
Well, one thing is for sure, and that is that Tisdale will never be a free man. We know that for sure. The only two options in his sentencing next week, death or life without the possibility of parole. And it does not have to be a unanimous decision when the jury reconvenes here and they start discussing his fate. We talked more to WPTV legal analyst Michelle Suskauer about that.
The decision doesn't have to be unanimous to vote for the death penalty. It has to be by majority. And Florida is one of very few states that permit that. And then the recommendation then goes to the judge, and the judge makes the ultimate decision.